raise your right hand for me? You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right. You put your hand down. Ms. Janvier?
Are you able to sit down or stop?
I can hear you. Well, I don't want to sit down and stop until I get to my gate because I don't want to risk missing my flight. So I mean, I'm walking to my gate now, but is the noise a distraction or?
I hear him pretty clearly. Let's see if we can go on.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Cassie Carpenter.
And Ms. Carpenter, what is your relation to Patrick Carpenter?
I'm his wife.
And how long have you been married?
We've been married for 9 years.
And Ms. Carpenter, did you call the police in reference to a domestic disturbance between yourself and Mr. Carpenter prior?
I did.
Do you recall?
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Do you recall approximately how many times you called the police regarding altercations with your husband, Mr. Carpenter?
I don't really know if I don't know if a number off the top of my head. I mean, it's probably been about 3, maybe, that I can think of just off the top of my head.
And excuse me, additionally, Ms. Carpenter, were you aware that after the incident occurring in February of 2021 that you were not to have any contact with Mr. Carpenter?
I was not aware until recently when I spoke with someone on the phone.
Okay. And are you currently working?
I'm self-employed.
And to your knowledge, does Mr. Carpenter work?
Yes. He also, I guess you could consider it, I don't know if you would consider it self-employment or not, but yes, he does work.
And is Mr. Carpenter the primary breadwinner in your home?
At this moment, yes, he makes the majority of the income.
Do you and Mr. Carpenter have any children together?
We do.
We
have 3 total. We have 3 total. One, two are my stepchildren and 1 between us both.
And do they live in the home with you all as well?
2 of them live in the home.
And are you primarily responsible for the care of those children?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you rely on Mr. Carpenter at all to assist you with caring for those children?
Most definitely. It's a team effort for sure. We went from having 1 child in the home to having my stepdaughter come down, which has been a challenge for us both. So yeah, we definitely work together.
And would it be fair to say that you don't really wish to testify against Mr. Carpenter today?
Not at all. I'm only here because I don't want him to be charged for something that Patrick is not a violent person. You know, we argue like regular married people. If it gets too heated, I call, like, my thing is to call just to mediate if nothing else, because I never wanted to get to that point. Not saying that my husband will cause me any physical harm, but a lot of people think that all the time and they just blow things off and things happen. So when we get in heated arguments or heated discussions, to assist us both, I usually reach out to the police to either, help calm the situation down or ask him to, leave the home temporarily or whatever the case may be, which has been done in the past. So, that's what I expected to happen. I didn't expect it to be, to this extreme. And like I said in my statement I sent out, I do feel like, we both learned from it, because now, if we do have a disagreement, it doesn't get to that point because neither one of us want it to escalate to where, either of us feel like we need to get the police involved, because, this has just been a lot. It's affected our lives in a big way. So.
In February of 2021, when you called the police to mediate, was the defendant, Mr. Carpenter, was he arrested at that time?
2021. Where were we? I want to say he was. I believe that was Brookstone. Yeah, I want to say that's the incident where he was arrested.
And do you recall what occurred at that time?
I believe that the officer who just made a statement, her as well as another officer, came once they were called out. And this is if this is the correct incident I'm thinking of. They came in. The situation had already, I guess, kind of calmed itself. Patrick had ordered a ride share to get ready to leave. And so it was already kind of calming down. We were both still upset though. So when they came in, we were, both telling our side to the officers and, kind of like going back and forth. They were kind of mediating, which was what I wanted. And everything kind of calmed down and it seemed cool. We started talking to the officer about, different discussions, like my business and our pets and things of that sort. And then that's when they came toward him and said that they were going to be arresting him for the charges listed.
So that was the incident in 2021. And then you called the police again in 2022 because, again, you had been in an altercation with your husband. Is that correct?
Okay, so I'm probably mixing up the incidents. The most recent incident is when he was arrested. So I don't know if that was 2021 or 2022, but I think we were at two different residences at the time, so I'm probably mixing up the two. But I believe there was one incident where I don't remember if he was arrested that both incidents or not, honestly. I want to say once he wasn't and the other one he was, but he might have been arrested both. I don't want to give you the wrong answer because I really can't recall. It's a couple of years ago.
All right. Just one additional question for you, Ms. Carpenter. Is it fair to say that you love your husband?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, he drives me crazy, but but that's normal. It's in a normal way. Yes, I do. I love Patrick. I wouldn't have been with him for 16 years, married 9 years if I didn't love my husband. So
thank you. No additional questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. White.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Carpenter, would it be fair to say that you're not afraid of Mr. Carpenter?
No, I'm not afraid of Patrick. I'm not afraid of Patrick. That's not something that he's not something that I fear at all. So,
would you like to continue to have contact with Mr. Carpenter?
I mean, most definitely. Like I said, we raise kids together. We pay bills together. At this moment, he's the primary income. So it will heavily affect my life and the upbringing of my children if, we can't be around each other. I mean, it's almost impossible to work together and raise our kids if we can't have any contact. So, because of our past mistakes. So, yeah, most definitely would not want that.
Okay. And in between the 2021 incident and the 2022 incident, did you and Mr. Carpenter move?
I believe we moved, yes.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, does the defense have anything to present?
No, Your Honor, just argument.
All right, make your arguments.
Your Honor, in reference to the actual bond order that the state submitted, one thing I would like to bring your attention to is the fact that Mr. Carpenter actually never signed the bond order.
Nope, no, sir. Not gonna do it. Because if it was a pandemic, they weren't signing paperwork. And even if it's not, if I've done first appearance, that's why I know it upside down and inside out. Most people don't sign their bond conditions, but those bond conditions are read to them in court and they're given a copy of the bond conditions. And if he got out on bond and he's not aware of what his bond conditions are, then he's the dummy. because I'm not going to not read something that's affecting my liberty.
Yes, Your Honor. In
So
regards
go
to,
on to your next argument.
yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, as you heard from Ms. Carpenter, in reference to the actual thing when looking at revoking a bond, of course, you have to consider whether or not the defendant is going to intimidate the witness, whether the witness is going to be intimidated. As Ms. Carpenter testifies, she's not intimidated by Mr. Carpenter. She would like to still have contact with him. As you can see from the fact that Mr. Carpenter is here in court, despite the fact that there is at least a chance that he could be going to jail today, he's clearly not trying to run from the situation. He is clearly not a flight risk in the situation. And even if you find that the bond condition has been violated, you do not have to actually throw Mr. Carpenter in jail. You can add extra conditions to help impose the fact that this situation does not happen again. One thing I can potentially recommend is due to the fact that, of course, these cases are family violence, an extra condition of the bond could be that he be required to take a family violence intervention course as opposed to actually throwing him in jail. In addition, Your Honor, as you can clearly see, Ms. Carpenter is prepared to go on a flight right now. As she stated, they do have children together, and right now, Mr. Carpenter is the only one who can take care of them at the moment. So if he were to be arrested today, then there would be no one to go and take care of the kids. So
well, she's putting a lot of trust in what decision I'm gonna make because she already at the airport.
She's coming back.
I'm on my way back home, actually. Like I was out of town for my mother's 60th, and then that's when I was notified of the court date. So I'm just trying to be here however I can be here to help the situation. Right. So
Ms. Janvier, you got anything?
Yes, Your Honor. So the state would contend that there has been a violation, clearly, of the bond condition to stay away. The defendant, the victim herself, is advised that they continue to live together. He is the breadwinner in the home, and that they are raising the children together in the home. The state would point out to the court that there are two cases which involve the defendant and the victim. She is the victim of both cases, and although the victim is advised that she may not have any fear today, it is evident that on both occasions she had concerns for where the victim's anger or would lead him, or where his actions would lead him as to whether or not she was safe at those particular times. Additionally, Your Honor, the fact that the defendant has violated the bond conditions would show that he does pose a risk to potentially committing a felony at any point between now and actually being heard on these cases, and that it does pose a safety concern to the community, as the wife that he has been with for, I guess she said 16 years, has called the police on multiple occasions, so many occasions that she is confusing the occasion, doesn't know which ones at which time she's called. So at this time, the state would say that the defendant has violated the bond conditions and that his bond should be revoked.
Mr. Carpenter, come up here to the computer so I can see you and look you in your face. Ms. Carpenter, I'm gonna need
yes,
y'all. I just learned this because I'm old, but I pay attention. I'm gonna need y'all to take us off the group chat. I'm really gonna need y'all to take us off the group chat. The police are not here to mediate your situation. Don't keep calling the police because you want somebody to talk y'all down and to make your marriage work. That's what therapy is for. But stop calling us, because this is getting ridiculous. Well, I call him, but I don't want him to go to jail. Well, I'll call him, but I don't want y'all to do anything to him. You are wasting our time. And I'm just going to be honest about it. I take domestic violence too seriously to get caught up in y'all's little wrapped up thing. I love him so much, but he wasn't going to do nothing to me. But I just wanted to call the police to moderate the situation. Police don't moderate. They're going to come there. They're going to figure out what's happening. But you heard that officer say, domestic violence is one of the most unsafe situations that officers find themselves in. Because as soon as they show up on the scene, 5 minutes ago, you were calling them because you were scared and he was threatening you. The next thing you know, you show up and y'all both aggressing the officers. Don't take my man. Just take us off the group chat. Y'all get some counseling. Because we're not here to mediate for you or manage your relationship. We're not here for that. Those police officers got situations where somebody's life is in danger. And y'all calling us to mediate. Well, I just call him because, you know, I love him, but we was having an argument, and then get counseling. In fact, that's what I'm gonna order. I'm gonna do exactly what Mr. White said. Mr. Carpenter, you go into family violence counseling.
Okay.
You are going to attend family violence counseling. Now, whether y'all decide after this case is over to attend something together, but you're going to counseling, and the no contact provision stays in place. So no, I'm not modifying it. I'm irritated right now because I really feel like y'all are using the system the way it's not supposed to be used.
So, ma'am,
If I truly hush, because if you could work this out, I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be in my courtroom. If you knew how to have a discussion with your wife that didn't end up with the police coming on at least 3 occasions, I would not be talking to you. So nothing you say to me is going to help. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're going to take that class. That's what you're going to do. And I'm not modifying anything. Any more contact y'all have together other than paying child support for them kids or sending money to the house for those kids, then all bets are off. Both of y'all, you lose that good job. I'm not playing. But stop calling the police to moderate your situation. That's what therapy is for. And I'm talking to you too, Ms. Carpenter.
I hear you. Can
If
I
y'all
ask you a
been together
question?
9 years, no, listen to me. If y'all been together 9 years and y'all still don't know how to talk to each other, if y'all been married 9 years and you still don't know how to talk to each other, y'all been together 16 years, you still don't know how to talk to each other, and y'all have 3 kids are in this situation, go to family counseling. Figure it out. But the police ain't here to counsel you. I'm clear. And Mr. Carpenter, you're going to end up in jail and you're going to lose whatever livelihood you got if you don't figure out how to walk away. When the argument gets heated, walk away. But what we don't need is you to keep calling officers in here to modify or moderate your situation. That ain't what we do. That's not what they do. So now, Ms. Carpenter, you had a question?
Yes, I did. Well, for starters, I want to kind of piggyback off what you said. You know, I might have missed. I don't know if me saying mediated situation made it seem like I'm just using officers to be my counselor, because that's not the case.
You telling us, well, I'm not scared of him. I want him back. I can't remember how many times I have called the police. Oh my goodness, but I love him and I want to work with him. This is not what we're here for.
Okay, so to my question, if we are, if the order is still in place, how are we supposed to move from this point on? Because we currently reside together. I can't just, move out with my kids.
Once again, you're asking me for therapy, and that's not what I do. What we do is separate people when there's a situation that is volatile, and we make that situation safe. And then what we do is we determine if there's someone who has committed a crime. And if that is the case, then I deal with the adjudication of the crime. And so the police are like first responders. All they're there to do is to make sure that they assess the situation. If there's a criminal act being taking place, that they deal with that and they keep people safe. That's what they're there to do. When it gets to me, I'm just here to adjudicate the case. So the two sides, the defense and the state, will come before the court, and either they're going to have a trial or they're going to have a plea or they're going to figure it out some other way. But my job is not to counsel you and work out how y'all going to deal with your kids, because y'all could have been in counseling years ago and figured this out for yourself. So no, that's not my job. What I know is
I think you misunderstood.
when a bond condition is imposed, that means there's no contact. And if I'm gonna keep putting stuff in writing, but if people keep failing to read it, because at any point prior to this point, prior to 2022, February 28th of 2022, if y'all had a situation where y'all felt like the bond condition needed to be modified, it could have been modified. But instead of that, y'all just decided we just gonna keep dealing with each other because we don't pay attention to the written word that says Mr. Carpenter's not to have contact. Read, people, read. My supervising judge, when I was a magistrate, she used to say to me, read, judge, read. Because everything you need to know is on those documents. That's why you have bond conditions. And not only do they tell you to read them, there's a judge who tells you at first appearance, look, you're not to have contact with this person. Did first appearance for 4 years, so I know. So Mr. Carpenter, if you were goofy enough to not read your bond conditions and still go back, that's on you, sir. But I don't want this situation where y'all are using us. Go to counseling, but not right now. Mr. Carpenter is going to counseling because there's going to be a new bond condition for him to take the family violence intervention course. Miss Carpenter, I don't know what you're going to do, ma'am, because that's not my job. Managing you is not my job. Managing your relationship, not my job. Managing what's going to happen to your kids because you keep calling the police, not my job.
That was literally a year ago.
What's your point? It's not resolved.
I mean, you okay, that's understandable, but you guys are acting like we've been together 16 years and it's 2 incidents where he went to jail. Like y'all acting like
Ashley,
we call the police and we just have
what
them
I'm
come out
hearing
every
was
6
3
months to counsel us. That's not the case. That's just not the case. I just feel like it's being exaggerated, but okay, Judge.
Well, ma'am, I've been married 15 years, been together with my husband probably 19 years, and we ain't never had to call the police. So
That's a blessing.
No, it's intentional. We know how to act. That's just it. So I don't know what's going to happen with you and your kids and all of that, because that's not my job. But what I'm saying to you is, the one thing I'm going to do to help you is not put Mr. Carpenter in jail right now. Because I fully see this is an effort. This is a collaborative effort between the two of you. But Mr. Carpenter, the bond condition stays in place. Mess up again if you want to. So you and your client, your attorney, decide whether we're going to try this case soon or whether y'all going to resolve it some other way. But I'm not playing. I'm not playing these silly games. I'm not here to figure out what y'all gonna do with your children or what y'all gonna do with your relationship. Really, that's not my job. All right, I'm done. All right.